Hey everyone, I'm Joe Ferzoco.
I'm Chris Ferzoco, and it is market statistics time,
Yes,
Joe.
sure is.
And today we are going to be reviewing, can't believe the year is flying by already.
Yeah.
We're going to be looking at April of 2026 versus March. And Joe, we're going to want to take a look at today, we really want to look at value, see how the values of properties are holding. So we're going to look at the overall value of homes, we're going to look at the number of properties that sold, meaning they actually went to settlement in the past month. We want to look at the number of properties that came on the market, always tracking that, watching our inventory levels. And of course, we want to look at the percentage of value of what the homes were listed for to what they sold for. And we're also going to throw in a little bit of that days on market.
Absolutely, and as you always say, Chris, this is all of the items that are on our MLS.
Right.
This isn't a private sale in your community or anything like that. This is all the statistics from the MLS. And of course, if you like what you hear, if you like what you see here with regards to our market statistics and whatnot, please make sure you subscribe below, tap that bell for notifications, and please hit the like button. You'll be the first to get the most up-to-date market information down here at the Jersey Shore, which is our Jersey Shore. Chris, Ventnor, Margate, Longport, Ocean City, Summers Point, Strathmere, Sea Isle, Avalon, Stone Harbor, North Wildwood, Wildwood Crest, now West Wildwood, which has always been there, Diamond Beach, Cape May, North Cape May, Cape May Courthouse, and Upper Township. Those are all the areas to which we cover here at the Ferzoco Group. So sit back, take a listen to see what's going on in your community.
Sure.
Get started.
And I'm going to start with Ocean City, Joe. And we actually looked at values here. And the overall value of Ocean City actually held steady, and actually has now for the last couple of months. So April versus March, have both held out at 1.33 million, which actually was the same as February. So Ocean City's values seem to be holding very strong at this point in time. Cool. What's something to watch with that is not only is it holding, so it says, okay, well, what's happening with the market? Has the market in Ocean City flatlined? So that's something to pay attention to. What's interesting though is the number of properties that sold actually increased by 25.5%. So we actually had 59 properties close in the month of April versus 47 in the month of March. So that's a good sign for the spring market. And we also had 128 properties come on the market, Joe, which is actually just a 5% increase. We had 122 come on in March. At least it's showing consistency. And so when you see that property values holding, I would not say based upon the other statistics that the market's flat. It just seems that those values have kind of held steady.
Yeah.
We're going to see obviously as we come through the rest of spring what that looks like. As when you look at the percentage of sale price to list price, went up a little bit, actually 98% versus 97%. And the days on market actually dropped from 60 days down to 47. So things kind of turned over a little bit quicker there. More than likely, these properties that closed this past month were actually probably under contract in January and or February.
Right.
So people just trying to get it in and be done with it here
Sure thing.
for the springtime.
Yep.
Now moving down the coast a little bit into Sea Isle City. Sea Isle City actually had a 14% jump, which is kind of one of those Sea Isle things. It's up, down. Just seems to be what it does. So it was at 1.38 in March. It's at 1.58 now here in the month of April. Number of properties that came on the market, number of properties that actually sold, we had 18 versus 13. So that's a 30% increase. So we had a really nice big increase in the number of properties that sold there in the month of April. And as for the number of homes that came on the market, it was actually the exact same at 16. So we had the same number of properties come on the market. Percentage of sale price versus list price at 99%, which was up 3% from the month before. And days on market actually dropped from 144 down to 120. So Joe, in those two towns, everything was positive, thumbs up,
that's
and
a great thing.
moving in an upward direction.
Well, let's move down the coast a little bit. We're going to move into the Wildwoods now, and as I've said before, we're doing all four boroughs now: North Wildwood, Wildwood Crest, and West Wildwood. We're throwing that in now too. So now in North Wildwood, your average sale price for the month of April versus March, that was actually down 49%. Your average sale price in April was $828,000, as opposed to $1.6 million in the month of March. So we always talk about some of these real massive, flips when it comes to either, with the sale prices and stuff like that. Sometimes that also has to do with some of the new constructions that have finally closed, as opposed to maybe just, 3-bedroom condos, 1-bedroom condos, smaller single-family homes and stuff like that. So sometimes that does equate into these massive flips. I mean, that's a 49% decrease in your average sale price. That, no need to fret in North Wildwood. Your prices aren't crashing. But anyways, average sale price $828,000. As far as the number of properties that sold, that was up 40%. We had had 15 transactions in the month of April. The number of properties that came on the market, that was also up 11%. We had 28 properties hit the market. Now we had 25 in March, so yeah, it's 11%. There was only 3 more that came on. But so we had 28. Your list price to sale price, identical each month, 95%. Your days on market, not too much of a difference. 138 in April, 117 in the month of March. So moving into Wildwood, your average sale price almost the same. It was down 1%, 633,000 was your average sale price in April. As far as the number of transactions that we had here, we had 17 transactions closed as opposed to 23 in March. Your amount of inventory, properties coming onto the market, identical, 26 in the month of April, 28 in March. So pretty identical there. And again, same thing, your list price to sale price, that was also right around 94, 95%. Okay. And your days on market, same thing, about 115 days in April, 103 in March. So everything is still kind of, those days on markets, they're all staying within about 30 days. There's not a real massive difference in that. Everything was in about a month, 3 weeks there. So moving into Wildwood Crest, your average sale price was up 39%. 868,000. We talked about this and we did the March statistics that, we felt as though, that 527 for the month of March, it was probably just a couple of smaller units, efficiencies and stuff that it sold, which is why it was so low. It's now jumped back up to 828,000, 868, which kind of puts it in line with North Wildwood. Number of transactions, that was up 33%. We had 18 transactions closed in Wildwood Crest in the month of April. Number of listings that came on the market, so that was down. It was down pretty significantly. It was about a 47% drop. We only had 20 properties hit the market in the month of April, as opposed to almost 40 in March. So that's a big difference there when you have that there. So your list price to sale price, 96% in the month of March, 95% in the month of April. So not really too big of a deal there. And again, days on market, 109 in April, 99 in March. So pretty close there. West Wildwood, we didn't have any transactions in the month of March. So as far as your average sale price, we had one transaction, one sold in West Wildwood in the month of April, was $510,000. We did have 5 properties come on the market in West Wildwood in the month of April. So we'll kind of see where that goes when we do May versus April. And of course, your list price to sale price was 91%. It was only on the market for a total of 74 days with this transaction. So that's the Wildwoods, Chris. When we go into Cape May, your average sale price was up 31%, 1.273 was your average sale price in Cape May for the month of April. The number of transactions, we had 10 as opposed to 6 in March, so that was a 40% increase. Number of properties that came on the market, again, that was another big decrease. That was a 41% decrease. We had only 10 properties, 10 units come on the market in the month of April as opposed to 17 in the month of March. So
that's interesting.
Just it's light for April. It's light for our spring market. So just something to keep an eye on there. Your average list price to sale price was 97%. This was the biggest gap when it came to days on market. In the month of April, it was 72 days. In March, it was 133. That was our biggest. It is a big gap. Anyways, it's almost twice as long, but it was the biggest gap that we had in the area. And of course, lastly, Diamond Beach, Sea Point Village area. So Sea Point Village, the Grand, all down in that southern tip there of Wildwood Crest. Your average sale price, we had no transactions in April. So again, your average it was $730,000. We had one transaction. $730,000 was the sale price. The list price to sale price was 100%, and the property days on market was 45%. We did have 5 new listings also come on the market in that area as well, which was a 40% increase. We only had 3 come on in March. So that kind of wraps up the coastal towns. Chris, you're going to jump offshore a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely, Joe. And right now in Upper Township, we actually saw an increase in value there, which again, much kind of like Cape May, and we said it's kind of that up, down, up, down, up, down. See how it's kind of very similar. Upper Township, we actually increased there by 55%. It was 448 in the month of March, and then we actually jumped up to 694 in the month of April. Number of properties that actually sold, we had 10 properties actually closed in the month of April versus 8 in March. And for the number of properties that came on the market, we actually had a 20% increase. We had 24 come on the market versus 20 in the month of March. Now, overall sale price to list price actually was just about the same. It was a slight increase from 97 to 98%, and your days on market went from 84 down to 66. Now, moving up into Atlantic County, which is where we cover Summers Point. Summers Point actually was the only area, Joe, that I noticed, and the ones that I was covering that actually had a decrease. Actually, it actually dropped by 17.5%. It was in 599 in March, dropped down to 494 in the month of April. The number of properties that actually closed, we actually had a 28.5% drop, 14 versus 10 in the month of April. And for the number of properties that came on the market, we did have an 8% increase. We actually had 37 come on in April versus 34 in the month of March. So when you look at that, the overall sale price versus list price actually was 94%. So it was a bit higher than it was in March, which was 93%. And your days on market actually jumped up to 110 from 67 days in the month of March.
Right. So you have some properties maybe sitting a little bit more in the Summers Point, things like that.
Which is not surprising when you look at the winter that we had.
Yeah.
You know, and just kind of coming out of that. So no real big surprise there.
100% there. Get that. All right, so North Cape May, when we move into that area there. So North Cape May, your average sale price was up about 5%, 510,000 was your, I'm sorry, it was down 5%. 510,000 was your average sale price in the month of April compared to 538 in March. So as far as transaction was concerned, we had 9 transactions, 9 closings for the North Cape May area. We had 8 in March, so pretty much the same. As far as your inventory levels are concerned, we had 19 new listings hit the market for North Cape May in April compared to 14 in March. So that's a 19% or 26% increase there. Your list price to sale price now, it was down 5%. You also got 100% of your asking. That was the average list price to sale price in North Cape May for April, was up 100% compared to 98% in March. And your days on market was 93 in April, 97 in March, so pretty identical there. Actually, lastly, Chris, so Cape May Courthouse, your average sale price was down 6%. And Cape May Courthouse seems to run always pretty, down 6%, up 6%. Down, there's no big gaps there when it comes to sale prices there. So by the month of April, 415,000 was your average sale price. That was down 6%. In April, the number of transactions, that was up 31%. We actually had 13 transactions closed for Cape May Courthouse in April. Identical with regards to inventory, the amount of properties that came on the market. We had 21 in April, 21 in April, so pretty identical there. List price to sale price, while it was down 6%, you actually had 5% more. You had 99% list price to sale price compared to 94% in March. So it kind of balances out there. And of course, your average days on market was 101 days, pretty identical to the month of March. So that kind of wraps it up a little bit there, Chris, with regards to statistics for April versus March. What did you see there with all the towns?
Yeah, well, when you look at a couple of factors I want to look at, not just value. What I want to kind of look at, Joe, is when you start looking at the days on market, and you point this out a lot, when you look at the sale price to list price, right? You look at the days on market, you're not seeing this days on market, 187 days, 197 days. We're still not there, right? Yeah, you might have 101, you'll jump to 130, and then it drops back down again.
Sure.
So right now, if you say overall, what's our consistent number, it's probably going to be somewhere, I'd say, between 90 to 100 days, somewhere in that market. So it's still a very stable market with regards to days on market. Things are kind of still moving along through the process. Sale price to list price, getting probably 93% or better in most cases. And the lower percentages seem to be the ones that are in the primary home market, like Summers Point was one of the lower ones. Other than that, really, I think the majority of them were somewhere between 97 to 99%.
Sure thing,
So we're still, you're not getting that 89%, right? We're not all of a sudden dropping out. So we're not seeing that happen. What I noticed in a lot of the towns too was that the inventory levels still have not grown significantly. Is there a bump? Sure, in a couple of the towns, right? You look at Ocean City, it's just under 300, right? So we still didn't even get over the 300 mark, right? Seattle, you're looking at 33. Very consistent, for the last 2.5 years, it seems like at this point. So I think right now, what I'm looking at more is in the more finite statistics. What I'm looking at is, have we seen the major jumps in days in market? Have we seen the major drops in overall sale price to list price? The answer is no. No. Right? The values have held. Some towns they've dropped, sure, but it wouldn't shock me if you turn around then in North Wildwood, where you had a 49% drop. All of a sudden next month it's like, and we had a 40% increase in North Wildwood, which means over 2 months there was a total of a 9% drop.
Right.
Right. And we're in the springtime, so May versus April, all these numbers could shift. So I think right now it's very interesting to watch what's going on in the shore towns. It's a mix of pretty much every market, right? We have low inventory, but we don't have a lot of sales going on. We don't have a lot of sales, but values are holding.
Sure thing.
Right? And we do have a lot of buyers coming in the market. Some of them seem to be, they seem to be taking their time a little bit longer. So I guess with all of this, what I'm saying is the market's no different than what it's been, I would say, for the last 2 years. Some homes we've had a couple of team members, they've been involved with bidding wars.
Yeah.
I mean, one gal on our team, at this video, I think she's had 5 bidding wars this year.
Yeah.
All offshore, I believe, too. None of
Yeah.
them were on the shore towns. That's
Yeah.
also an interesting point. Primary home market seems to be happening with that again.
Yeah.
So I think these are just all things that we need to watch, which clearly that we will be doing, but the telltale signs are in those little details. And I don't think value is the only one we should be looking at to say, oh, this is what's going on with our market, because it has been like this
Yeah.
for at least 2 years at this point.
Yeah.
So I think really paying attention to that sale price, the list price, days on market, that's going to really start to tell us the trend. And right now, our trend is just what it's been, very consistent.
I think consistent
Yeah.
is the word that you want to use. Another study that I was doing for another group was we did 3 years of like end of April. So like the amount of listings that have come on the market in Cape May County. So in like the Cape May County MLS, it was since 2024, 2025, and 2026, the amount of properties that have come on the market throughout the county was all within 100. So over the last 3 years. So I mean, it's just consistent.
There's a variation.
Well, yeah, there's not like what we were talking about the market in 2024, and this is great for buyers, this is great for sellers. It's the same story right now. The market, your inventory levels. I mean, yeah, they fluctuate up and down, but in 4 months, April 30th of the end of each of those years, it's all within about 100 listings, and I think it was even tighter than that. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, look, if you're looking to purchase, you're looking to sell, we always talk about it. If you're looking to sell, we can still, reach out to us, give us a call, shoot us a text, Chris and I at the Ferzoco Group. We can sit down, we can do a much more detailed, market analysis on your property, on your neighborhood, the type of property that you have, and really get you going in the right direction when it comes to your value if you're choosing to sell. If you're looking to purchase something, you reach out to a team member here at the Ferzoco Group, and we can make sure that we're fast tracking your criteria search so that if something comes on the market, if a status changes, if a price adjustment happens, you get that immediately. Yes, Zillow is going to help out, and they're going to get that too. But your agent's going to be reaching out to you right away, saying, "Hey, we just saw this come back on the market, or we just saw this price adjustment," and we can make sure that we get you ahead of everybody else when it comes to presenting those offers, into these sellers based on the inventory and the product that you're looking for in the marketplace.
Hey, Joe, I want to jump in there too. One other thing, folks, remember too. Our team is prospecting for buyers and sellers every single day.
Sure thing.
Meaning we're making phone calls, we're calling into our database, we're calling into the neighborhoods. So if you're actually thinking about purchasing a property, give us a call, tell us what you're looking for.
Sure thing.
Because you sitting there waiting for it to hit the market, you've missed a golden opportunity, because probably a good 50 to 100 other people are probably looking for the same thing.
Yeah.
So you're going to miss an opportunity. If we know what you're looking for, and we
be able to
find
find
a
it.
seller that is looking to potentially sell, we might be able to put you two together without it having coming on the market. Now all of a sudden you're getting yourself into a great opportunity. It doesn't mean it's going to be this low deal. What it means is you're not necessarily going to have to compete against a lot of other people, which means you're going to get a reasonable deal.
Yeah.
Which is what you really should be looking for,
Sure
right?
thing.
Not necessarily just for a steal. So I just want to point that out. I mean, give us a call, let us know what you're looking for. It may not be on the market right now, it may not be in our inventory, but we could run into it just arbitrarily making our phone calls.
Yeah, these off-market properties and stuff. It's not so much that we're holding it off market, but if we know what you're looking for, and we're talking to someone that's seriously thinking about it, we reach out to you immediately, say, this is what we've got, this is what the pricing is looking like, is this something that you feel as though would fall into your criteria, and then we can we can take it from there. And it's like everything else. This week, next week, 6 months from now, a year from now, give us a call, shoot us a text or an email. It'll be our pleasure to help you with all of your real estate needs, whether you're buying or selling down here at the Jersey Shore. So that's going to wrap up April versus March 2026. He's Chris, I'm Joe. Till next time, we'll see you at the beach.